Well, it's Saturday morning and this battery has been on the charger overnight. So let's see how it tests out. Let's see. The red goes to the red. The black goes to the black. Okay. And we're showing a good, gosh, 13 volts. Isn't that something? Let's put a load on it and see what happens. Drops down to the, boy, that's marginal. Oh, look at that. I'm holding the load and it just fell off. Okay, nope. Great voltage with no current. Oh, okay. That's it. I'll buy a new one. Dum dum da dum dum da dum 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 dum. Let's see if I can find one of these locally. Well, Amazon strikes again. Ordered it yesterday, got it today, and today's Sunday. Went out on my front porch and there it was. Right now it's 10 after 7. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the bike. And I'll do a test. I'll do a load test on it just to see the difference between it and the old one. Okay? Be right back. All right, this is the old battery that tested bad yesterday. Here's the brand new battery that I just got this morning. I put it on the charger as soon as it came in, so it's been on the charger a couple hours. And then here's your load tester, and let's see what happens. Let's put this one up here. Red to red, black to black. Shows a good 12 volts. And let's see if you can see the needle. Turn on the switch. Drops down to weak. Yesterday, oh look, I'm holding it, yeah. So let's see what happens with the new one under this exact same test. All right, once again, showing a good charge. Reaching down, turning on the toggle. Stays in the green. Holding the toggle on, it's holding. It's still holding. Okay, doesn't drop off. Okay. Keep in mind that this tester is intended to test automobile batteries, which have a whole lot more current capability, shall we say. So for it to be in the green is just wonderful. Now, and the scale down here is what we're repeating, the bottom line, 12 volts. So we're staying in the green all the way. So, new battery. We'll put it in the bike and check it out. All right, I'm going to put the new battery in now, and let's see how it goes. There are 3 ground wires, which are a lot, and 2 negative wires that go on the battery. You always do the negative wires first, so in case you accidentally touch the frame of the motorcycle with either the screwdriver or wrench, whatever you're using, you won't make any sparks. It doesn't matter if you touch the frame when you're doing the positive, because it's a positive ground bike anyway. So do the negative wires first. All right, let's see, I went off on a tangent there. They normally do not supply lock washers with batteries, so I went and found a couple small lock washers. Now we're going to put this on. I got a stubby and I got a 10 mil, just in case. Well, you never know what you're going to need when you start dropping it in place. All right, so here we go. You have to take the two black wires and put them on the negative side. I keep hitting the microphone that's dangling from my chest. So let's see how this goes. It doesn't fit that nut very well. There. All right. Okay, that's the negative wires. Now I'm going to drop it down into the box like so. And I have enough room here, I think, to do this from the outside. So I have 3 wires, one of which I just shoved down into the box. Okay, now I got all 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, like that. This is a 10, I put shrink on it just for situations like this to protect against short circuits. But once again, this is positive, and this is a positive ground bike. So touching the frame with the wrench is not a problem. Over there, it would be a problem. Here, it's not a problem. All right. Okay, we have a new battery. Positive to positive, negative to negative, and we can do a little testing now. By the way, I've got these monster lights, I'll show you, that are illuminating the area. They come in real handy. They are shining brightly down into here. They're a big help, they really are. All right, so let's do a little testing on the electrical system. All right, let's check out the systems. Oh, please work. Okay, ignition on, ignition light. Headlight on, good headlight, good pilot light. Turn signal, sound looks good. Turn signal looks good. Enough power. They flash just fine. Headlight, high beam, low beam. Strong horn. Let's go in the back of the bike. We've got headlight on now. We have tail light on now with headlight. Brake, brake, turn, turn, good. Tail light in park, yep. And horn. We have an electrical system. Good strong battery, good electrical system. All right. Now the only thing I'm going to do now is put some shrink tubing over some of these unused connectors under the seat. They're unused because there's a Padronix replacing the old rectifier and Zener diode, and a electronic ignition system getting rid of the condensers. So there's some extra connectors that just aren't used, and I prefer to have them covered over, even though they're perfectly safe. I'm just going to put shrink tube over them in that one too, and these back here that go to the old rectifier. That way, the next guy who comes along won't be a little confused as to why, what, is that on purpose or are they loose? So anyway, I'm just going to cover them with shrink tube, and I'll show you what happens after I do it. Let's turn the light back on so you can see what I'm talking about. That's one light. That's the other light. That helps. All right. All right, I'm going to cap off these wires or cover them. Let me show you something else. This is a new heater, a heat gun. And what I did is I saved the cable from the old heat gun and spliced it onto the new heat gun. So I've got about, I don't know, a 15-foot cord on this heat gun. I can use it anywhere in the shop. I've done the same thing with my soldering iron. I've got maybe 3 different lengths of wire spliced into it, so I can have it plugged in over there and work over here. It's very helpful. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to heat these and then crimp them closed. That way people know that this was done deliberately. This one is over a wire that goes through. I'm just going to crimp the shoulders a bit. Actually, it's going down tight enough that I don't need to These three back here, I'll try to do them one at a time. Let's do all three. Now they're nice and hot. Just go ahead and crimp them shut. Like so. And they are hot because they're burning my fingers. Okay, so they're nice and crimped. So anybody seeing these things is going to know it. That's deliberate. They're not just unused. They are deliberately covered over. Okay, I feel better about that. Now what I can show you one more little thing to consider is after you've crimped them off, you can go back and actually make them pretty. If you want to. I usually do. There we go. I can also take off this whole piece of tape if I can break it free or cut it loose. Here it is. Get rid of that. All right. Now we'll tuck these down here away and tuck this one down here out of the way. Neatness counts, especially when it comes to electrical. Neatness counts a lot when it comes to electrical. Okay, everything tucked down, and this guy sits down. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to run it under these wires, so it'll be down here a little lower, away from the seat. It's a 10 amp fuse. That's all you need. Okay, there we go. It's down in there. Everything's down below seat level. And, okay. See, this one could come off of here and go under here and back onto there. There we go. Okay. Little better. Little mo better. Neatness counts. Neatness counts. Neatness counts. Okay. We have an electrical system. And this is bumping against this lid. Let's double check the level while we're here. All right, we need fluid. We put fluid in there. On these systems, they call for .3. I use .4. It's sort of an improved .3. There we go. All right, no air bubbles, so it's still good. Just a little bit more. you do this, you collapse the bellows like that. So it goes down in there flat. Come on, collapse the bellows. Collapse the bellows. The bellows should be collapsed. There. The bellows should be collapsed. Like this. Okay? Now, I don't like the fact that this is bumping that, but see, it's been welded. This bracket here that holds this master cylinder tank up here, this is a very weak bracket, and it's almost always broken, and they've welded it, which has moved it a little bit farther out than normal, but it's a very strong bracket that they put on there. I can't bend it. So the fact that it's bumping, well, that's just a fact of life. Doesn't hurt anything. Okay, and there goes the registration, of which I would not put where it is, but that's beside the point. Matter of fact, just for grins, put a piece of painter's tape across it. Matter of fact, just for grins. I'm going to take it and put it in a plastic bag. Put it back under there and tape it in place. Let's see if we can do this successfully. All right, that's better. This is painter's tape. Really neat stuff. It's temporary tape, so you can put it down and not worry about it. There we go. Okay, that's not going anywhere. Now, while we're at it, let's put a spare 10 amp fuse on the bike. Now, I have to admit that this is just sort of CYA. A 10 amp fuse, one 10 amp fuse is pretty much worthless. Because if you have something on your bike that blows a fuse, well, the first thing you do is you put the spare fuse in. And whatever blew the first fuse blows the spare fuse. Then you say to yourself, gee, maybe there's something wrong. And you start looking for the cause, which is usually down around the brake pedal. There's hot ignition down near your brake pedal, guys. And that's a good place to short out. So at that point, you start looking for the problem and you fix it, but you don't have a spare fuse. What you need is, when you're going to carry spare fuses, carry a box of 6 or 10 of them so that you have enough spare fuses with you that you can actually fix your bike on the side of the road in the dark at midnight in the rainstorm. Okay, now let's see if the seat will go down without crushing that fuse. There we go. Yep, seemed to. All right. There you go. Now we're just waiting on the speedometer drive. So at this point, we have a good electrical system, and I'm going to go ahead and button up the front end. Close up the lamp, or close up the headlight. And probably call it a day. So there's the headlight in the dark. And here's the headlight with the bright lights on it. I think you can probably see a difference. These lights make a big difference in my life. That lets me see what's going on in there. All right, I'm going to close up the headlight, and I'm going to close up the headlight, period. All right, the bike is all buttoned up, closed up, all the electrical works perfectly. New battery is a wonderful thing to have. Rear wheel is still jacked up. The chain is sitting loose and just waiting on the speedo driver. I used my drill to spin the speedo cable. You spin it in reverse, by the way, and check out the speedo. It works when you spin the cable. So it's the sender, as we already know. That should be in the next 2 or 3 days, and I'll be able to declare the bike complete. So I'll do a test ride. Kevin's going to go out of town for a few weeks. I'll do a test ride as soon as I put that speedo drive on, and then give the bike back to the owner. Looking good.